Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. I'm Sanyukta Saxena, and this is another session in which we'll be doing a project, at least starting a project, and I'll break it up into few parts because it will take a couple of hours to finish it. And we will practice the fragments that we have already done, probably introduce one or two new also, and most importantly try different reticulums in which we will try out those fragments. Right, till now we have mostly worked on square grids or triangular grids like triply, and we have worked on spiral grids in one or two tiles, but today we will explore more of different grids and practice the fragments that we already did, and probably one or two more. Right, so let's get started right away. I again have my journal in front of me. You can pick up any scrapbook. This is a bigger sheet, probably about the size of an A5 sheet, right? And I'm just going to create some sections randomly here, right? You can always create a rough border here, right? So put in the 4 dots, and with a very light hand and with a sense of gratitude towards the art form and towards the beautiful opportunity that it gives you to create a beautiful piece of work, right? So I'm just going to divide this into some sections randomly like this, right? And then add a crisscross, create a square, a bigger square grid. However, I'm going to work on different grids inside each of these squares, right? So that's the fun part. So let's get started. I hope you have done this exercise and it is clear to you. I have created some sections, right? So now let's get started. Pick up any one section and create a grid first, right? So I'm going to start with these double lines. I am using my Micron O2, right? And I'm going to start with some double lines. They can be absolutely straight or they can have a slight curve, whichever way you want, right? And then I'm going to add some sections, but in a zigzag fashion, yeah, like this, right? So I have divided the grid. I have divided this section into further sections, and one part of the line is a double line, right? So I'm just going to add a little character to the line by adding a little weight to the second line, right? And I have drawn squares inside it, created square sections. We will also try creating different kinds of sections with the same kind of grid, right? So just draw along with me slowly, follow me along, right? So little character, and then let's pick up one of the fragments that we have not yet practiced, probably the triangular one, or probably this one. This is a square grid, right? So I'm going to probably pick up the floors grid, right? So we haven't really drawn that one yet, so I'm going to pick up this fragment, right? So I'm going to add this diamond. First draw the plus sign, divide the square into 4, and then draw the diamond inside, right? So this is one section, and this is the diamond there. This is another section, and a little bit of diamond there, right? Again, you can draw one line like this, divide each one of them into 4, and draw a diamond inside. Right, so we drew this fragment in our previous style, in which we had drawn about 12 fragments together. Yeah, this was one of them. So take your time and draw that fragment here. Right, so I have done that exercise. Small things that you can do to add to the look. Some dots here and there. Nice way to embellish. Yeah. So this is one fragment that we did. Let's move on to another reticula and another fragment, right? So let's choose a simple. I'll go with the same reticula, but this time with triangular sections, right? This time I'm going to create triangular sections, right? So take your time, slowly draw each reticulum, and then we will slowly insert a fragment inside each. Right? Now this one also, either you can add some weight or you can add some Knightsbridge. Small little things that you can do to this reticulum also. Yeah. So just play around, enjoy the process, enjoy drawing, experiment with things. You don't have to follow a set process. Tangles, fragments, they are all ideas. Make them your own. Create your own thing, taking a cue from them. Yeah? That's the whole fun. Right? Now, one fragment that we did was this, and we added some bronze chairs inside. Right? We didn't really do a tile using this fragment, so I'm using that here. Small little tipples or bronze chairs, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So I am using that only in one section, as you can see, and I'll use another fragment for the other section. That will be fun. Yeah. Adding a curvy aura to each of the sides of the triangle. Adding small little orbs, just like bronze chairs or tipple inside. If you highlight these orbs a little more, they will look like bronze chairs. Yeah. So have fun. Yeah. Right, so there's one more fragment that we learned, and it was with a dot in the center. and then we drew lines emanating from the center like this. Yeah, so you can use this fragment here in the alternate triangles that we left. Nice and simple. Yeah. Looks like a spider stuck in a triangle. Yeah, so I'm just going to continue like this. Take your time and slowly do that exercise. If you think I go very fast, you have that advantage as far as video is concerned. You can always pause it, complete your work, and then play it again. Yeah, I can't be making too long videos because generally subscribers don't like it. Yeah, so that's how the fragment looks like. I'll just finish it. Right, so I'm done with that exercise. So we have used two fragments here, right? So let's go to another reticula. So I'm going to draw some lines like this, right? And then I'm going to alternate straight line, curved line, straight line, curved line. It's in reverse C shape, right? Again, curved line, straight line, curved line, straight line, curved line, straight line, curve, right? So that's another reticula. Looks like the roof, right? So again, yeah, that's another grid, right? So let's see what do we want to do in this. I'm going to use only the square spaces, right? So what I'm going to do here is add something like flukes, not exactly, because it will have a line here, or you can call it a cubientangleation, because I'm going to draw lines like these, right? So that's another fragment, which is basically an extension of the tangle cubine, right? So just add a square in each of these squares and join this corner of the square to the corner facing it of the bigger square, and then join these, draw these lines, and you create a beautiful fragment. Yeah, so I'm going to slowly do that for all, and the in between spaces probably I'm going to leave as it is or draw some lines. Yeah, when I say lines, I mean something like, or probably I'll leave it empty, it will look nice, right? So I'll not draw anything there. Yeah, so if you are not comfortable drawing all the lines in the keeping the book or the page constant, you can always rotate it. Feel free to do that. In fact, that is the advised practice. Don't move your hand much. I don't have much liberty as far as the scrapbook is concerned. It will be a bit difficult to rotate it, that's why I'm avoiding it, but you can always do that. Yeah. So just continue like this. I will do this exercise and get back to you. Drawing behind at places. Right? So I am done with this section also, right? So let's try another. I am again going to draw these double lines. Right? However, this time I am going to draw some orbs inside. Yeah. So we will go with something inside an orb this time. Use it as a reticula. Yeah. So take your time and complete the grid first, and then we shall see what reticula, what fragment do we want to insert. Yeah. So now let's add a new one. I'm going to draw a square inside each. Right? Like this. Whatever spaces seen or available. Right? And the next thing is extending the side of the square to the opposite side. Like this. Right? Remember the tangle Stoic? Something like drawing a Stoic grid inside a circle. Yeah? Straight, straight down, straight side, straight up. Right? That is how we draw the tangle twirl or Stoic. So just extending that side up to the circle. Yeah. So it's no hard and fast rule that you have to go clockwise. You can go anti-clockwise also. That's okay. You will get the same kind of pattern. Yes, it will vary. The meta pattern will be different if you go clockwise or anti-clockwise, especially when you draw it in a square grid. Yeah. So clockwise and anti-clockwise would vary the meta pattern that is formed in a square grid, but here I don't think it will make much difference. Right? The in-between spaces, feel free to either ink it or add some orbs. I am going to ink it. Yeah. So you have big spaces there. You can also add auras, you can add orbs, you can add tipple, whatever you feel like, right? I thought probably some inking will add, so I am inking the spaces. So almost finishing with my inking on the last section now. Yeah, I think we are done, right? So that's one more fragment that you can use. So let us pick up another section, try something more. So I am now going to go with a spiral reticula. Like this, yeah, and you can also add double line to it. Right, so once you have done that, you can either insert orbs, you can insert anything, squares. We generally divide it into squares. Let us today divide it into circles. So I'm inserting orbs inside the spiral that I've drawn, just like we draw for Marasu. So this is another reticulum that you can use, and then choose a fragment of your choice for the orb. Yeah, take your time and do that exercise slowly. Going with whatever spaces I have. Right? So once we have drawn that, let us now choose another fragment. So one of the fragments that we didn't really practice. So let's choose that. Yeah, eek we did. So let's go with eek only. I think we can nicely place it here. Right? So we did practice this fragment, used it as a string. Right? So I'm going to do the same for all, or you can vary. You can use some other fragment also. You don't even have to lift the hand anywhere while you're drawing these fragments. That's the beauty. So one stroke, right? So I've done that exercise, drawn the same fragment inside a spiral. Now the rest of the space, it is entirely up to you. How do you want to deal with it, right? It will be a nice idea to add something inked there. So I'm just adding an orb and filling it in. Like this, yeah. So entirely up to you. How do you want to go about it? You can completely ink it, even that is fine. right? So slowly do that exercise for all the leftover sections. So I'm done with that exercise in a spiral grid, right? This section, let us explore another kind of a grid. So I'm going to draw lines like these, right? And then rotate, and then just draw lines like these, straight lines, but just kind of maneuvering them with the shape of my grid. Right? So this looks like a web, and then you can choose another fragment of your choice, right, and just insert it there. So spaces are small here, so you can go with any fragment. Let's see.